Hi guys, welcome back to my channel. It's really nice to see you. Today I wanted to hop on and do a mid-month check-in with you and myself. This is really to keep accountability on what I set for my September intentions. And now that we're about halfway through now, I thought I would check in with you and tell you how it's been going. So the first thing that I want to talk about is my card of the months. So I do have two. I have my Oracle card pull that I did with you guys in my August wrap up and September intentions video. And if you haven't seen that video, I would highly recommend you watch it first so you kind of know what I'm talking about and my check-in thus far and the progress or non-progress that I've made on things. So I had my Oracle card pull that I did on camera with you guys, and then I forgot and then remembered later on that at the beginning of the year I did a Wheel of the Year or Year Ahead card pull reading, and I went to look it up, and I have it noted here in this journal. And my September is the Five of Wands. I'm going to discuss both of those cards right now with you. So I pulled out the Five of Wands, and then I pulled out my Oracle card pull, which is Serenity. And I'm going to be 100% transparent with everyone in that I haven't really worked with my card of the month yet, and I just found out that September had a designated card, and yeah, this is very representative in all of the, I guess, reversed and or more negative ways. This has been a really tough month. But before I dig into that, because it relates to another video that I did, and I kind of want to talk more about it then, I thought that I would maybe, to keep myself on track here and to actually work with the stuff that I'm pulling, I think I wanted to look up the definition for serenity and read the meaning of it first in the guidebook, and we'll set it up in my tarot journal, and we'll really take a think on it. So let's go ahead and do that first. So I pulled Serenity. Let me pull you down here. Okay. Serenity. To encourage composure, calmness, and peace. A being is free and at one with nature. The spiraling earth beneath them symbolizes the flow of energy. Energy is received, processed, converted, and then released. This cycle attracts beauty and positivity. When your outer world spirals, hold the pose and maintain energetic sovereignty. Inner peace is available to you in spite of chaos, through the process of Serenity's sacred transmutation. Becoming one with this process ensures it's energetically imprinted onto your spirit, allowing you to be a beacon of peace for others during times of distress. And the little quote here is, "When my outer world spirals, my inner world remains still." Ooh, this is hitting extra hard this month. And maybe it's kind of a blessing, or the world just kind of knows that maybe me not working with this now is a sign of, I don't know, I needed to hear this now versus maybe the beginning of the month where it wouldn't have really resonated as much as it does right now. So let's go ahead and I'll just tuck this in there for now. And let's note that down together in my tarot spread journal. I know that this technically isn't a spread, it's just a one card pull. However, it's important to note. So September. Serenity. So I wanted to look up the definition of serenity. The definition of serenity is a state of calmness, peacefulness, and of being untroubled. So let's note that. Probably can hear my cat romping around like a horse in the in the house. Sorry for the road noise. It's such a beautiful day out, and it's not too hot. And it's the last, I think it feels like the last bits of summer here. And the house is on quite a busy road, even though it's set away. Where I'm filming, the road is right in the front by the window. But I have such a good view. And anyway, I digress. So now I want to spend some time looking at the card. We have like a spiral here that she's standing on, so I'm going to note down symbols. And butterflies. There's like a stone angel figure back here. I don't know if you can see it. So maybe angel. The assignment that I'm going to give myself is to look up more about these symbols and define them. And then I want to take parts of the definition and in the guidebook here, what would we call that, mantra? When my outer world spirals, my inner world remains still. I think that's probably really difficult because I have not managed to remember that at all. And I've recently faced some chaos, so I definitely have not remembered that my inner world can be still, even though my outer world is in chaos like this. I feel better knowing that I have written a little bit about my card of the month. I've taken some time to think about it. I have something on paper, which really is how my brain works. And now that it's here, I will feel a sense of almost like homework to look up the symbols and dig more in deeply about serenity so that for the remainder of the month, it's more at the top of my mind. And next, I wanted to talk about the lunar spread that I did with you all about almost a month ago now. I did a full moon reading specifically for August to September. That time is in the last bits as we almost reach the full moon for September. But I wanted to take some time to reflect on that reading and give a bit of a life update. So the cards that I received for that reading, I used my Earth Magic Oracle cards on the sides here. And then the cards I got were Two of Swords, Two of Cups, and the King of Pentacles. Try to kind of squish them here so that you can see. And then I got Nine of Wands and the Six of Cups. And I wanted to be fully transparent with you guys and tell you that this past week I received news that my job was, or my position rather, was being eliminated. And so I no longer had a job. And it was quite an emotional day. I found that out on Monday, first thing in the morning, right at 8 a.m. as I hopped on with my now former boss to do a check-in We usually did morning check-ins Monday, Wednesday, Fridays, and I thought she had just moved it to 8 a.m. It was usually around 8:30, but I immediately received news that my job was no longer, my position and role, they were kind of doing away with it, and basically I was out of a job. And that call was hard enough. I really didn't get too many answers other than it was a business decision. But I, at the time, was the breadwinner for my family. I have a 4-year-old little girl who just started school for the first time. She's in kindergarten. And my partner, he was a stay at home dad while she, up until school. Financially, it just made more sense for us. So that's what we decided to do. But the loss of the job was really hard because I have people depending on me, and it was emotional, and I didn't really get my questions answered, and I don't think I ever will. So having to reconcile with that has been a little hard. I'm on day, what's it? Today I'm filming, it is Saturday the 14th, and I found out on Monday the 9th, I think. The 9th was Monday. So it has been just about 6 days now, so I'm still very much processing. But the reason why I wanted to tie in the lunar reading that I did for this lunar cycle of the full moon, my cat is jumping down from the window. That's Cloud. Come on, Cloud. He likes to sunbathe. So the reason I wanted to pull out the reading again that I did is because I didn't know quite what was in store for me. I took you through what I thought the interpretations meant at the time, but in hindsight now, I think those messages still definitely apply to me. And I know I spoke about solitude, meaning, I've distanced myself, not on purpose, from my family, as in my parents, because I do have my own family, but I felt a little isolated and distanced from them, and how I wanted to see them more. And then, of course, I said that this card could mean there's a lot of changes coming because my daughter's going to school for the very first time, and my partner was going to go back to work, and there was a lot of change surrounding that. So I think those messages still resonate and they still apply. But now there's a second layer, of course, because I'm entering a time of solitude. I have ink from my fountain pen on my finger, but I am now, my partner and I have kind of switched. And now I'm a quote unquote stay at home parent, even though my child is in school. And he fortunately has picked up a very, very good job. And so financially, we will be okay. And I'm forever grateful for his support and everything that's unfolded since this news. It's been a lot. I lost my job, and that same day he went and got a job, and a really decent one. So I am so grateful. And he also, we've personally had a lot of discussions, and he really wants me to take this time to figure out what my next step is, whether that's going back into the workforce in the same capacity that I was, or if it looks a little different. Perhaps I could do some freelancing. The realm of my job previously was in the marketing sector, focused in on healthcare. So I could hop right back into that pretty seamlessly, I think. Obviously in a different role and within a different company, but or I could do anything. It's kind of time for me to figure that out. I could make YouTube my focus. I could write that book that I've always wanted to write. I could get a part-time gig somewhere. I mean, the world has become my oyster in a way, even though it was through volatility. And little did I know that Two of Swords, what comes after the Two of Swords? The Three of Swords. So maybe it was a warning. I don't know. But it was very sudden. It happened so quickly. And it is a loss. If it's a loss of identity that I've had. I mean, I was at that company for almost 5 years, and it was a smaller company. There was only about 50 at most in the company, and you really got to know people on a super personal level, whether you work directly with them every day or not. And so it was a huge loss. And, I worked with certain vendors too outside of the company, and to not have the chance to say goodbye or anything like that was very hard for me. And it still is. I, like many Americans, place a lot of purpose and self-identity into what my job is in my career. It's very central to the American way, which can be hard when you kind of lose that, or it looks different, or it changes. So, but better things here are ahead, even if it, might be hard. There's some work I still need to do surrounding that. But I'm doing okay. My family will be okay. And again, I wouldn't be where I am without my partner and without his family and my family. And everyone has just been so supportive and there for me as I process things and I transition into a different way of life now. So that is a personal update that I've had and how it relates to that lunar reading. In hindsight, I really think, the cards were trying to also tell me that piece, but I have that layer now, and I do appreciate it, and I'm going to let that sink in a little bit more before the close of this moon cycle. The next update I wanted to talk about is the Essential Tarot Writings book. I committed to starting this, and as you can see, I have been tabbing it, I have been annotating it. I am more than halfway through. I'm on part 5, which is page 225. I believe there's only 352 pages, because the rest of this book is biographical notes, other notes, bibliography, index. So I'm more than halfway through, and this book has really been awesome. It has not been as dense as I thought it would be. It has actually really been easy to read and very clear. And the author, the way the chapters are set up, Donald Tyson, let's go to part 5 here. Why not? He does an introduction to the next part or chapter, and this really provides a lot of context and background on the author of the essay. And in my September intentions section of my August wrap-up video, I was not clear about what this book contained. The way I worded it made it sound like there were only 2 essays in here. However, what I meant by those 2 essays is that those are the basis for and the foundation of these other essays contained in this book and elsewhere. They set the foundation to which these other essays are written and discussed. And so we start off part 1 with those 2 essays. And then each part from there, it builds upon those. And I really like that setup. It starts here with them, and then it also is kind of, I believe so far, it has been in chronological, like, timeline order. And each essay, while it does derive from these 2 essays, they are or hold different opinions and lenses into the tarot. Some completely disagree with someone else, and I really like that. It makes it feel more complete and like we're getting both sides of the story. It's not just all the same tune on yes, yes, yes. We all agree with Antoine here that the tarot came from Egypt, which I know we know now that isn't the case. And it's from these essays where they really take time to sit down and dissect that. I really appreciate that each essay is based on another one historically, but that each author adds in their own touch to it. And for example, the last essay here that I had read by Brodine Innes, J.W. Brodine Innes, he really disagrees with A.E. Waite on a lot of things. And he talks about why he disagrees with him. And it's really interesting because you think, ooh, how dare he disagree with A.E. Waite, right? Because he was such an influence to tarot. But I don't know. I've really been enjoying that part of it. So as you can see, I have been tabbing a lot. I have highlighted a lot and underlined a lot. I think I wrote somewhere here. Yes, so my tabs, in case you're curious, the gray are references or any charts or definitions of the tarot cards that the authors have that I'm going to use as references and go back on. Even if I don't agree with them, it opens up the mind. And then the red and the yellow are notable tidbits that I found fascinating. And I ran out of the red, so I had to do this yellowy orange color here. So yes, I'm more than halfway, and there's a lot of insight to the Golden Dawn as well in this. And it discusses the meanings that they had and how it formed and the notion behind it, and that the original Golden Dawn was only really a few years old and then kind of dissipated, and it branched off into other sectors. So the first original Golden Dawn really isn't any longer existing, but branches of it are. There are definitions of card meanings that have really opened my mind and made me think. And I wanted to share a couple of those instances with you. So the first one I have noted down is on page 178. This talks about how, let me zoom you guys in a little bit more. It talks about how each major card is tied to another, that they are linked in some way. For example, the Hierophant here, it says divine wisdom, manifestation, explanation, teachings, occult wisdom. Compare this trump with the magician, the hermit, and the lovers. And I think making those connections or having them noted down like this, I sit and I think and I'm like, yeah, I can really see that. Or no, I'm going to have to dig deeper on why that may be connected there. Here's another one, the High Priestess. Compare it with death and the moon. And now I know, or originally knew, or have known, whichever, that the moon and the High Priestess are linked. But for death, I was like, that's kind of new to me. Let me look into that more and let me think about that a little bit. Let me put that on the back burner of my mind. And every time I do a reading now where High Priestess comes up, I'm going to be like, yeah, it's connected to the moon. And also it's noted to be connected to death. And why is that? I was hoping this book would take me into the intermediary space in my tarot practice. It really is taking me deeper into that. So I have one more example. So another interesting part here that I'm going to share is when I read this. This is by Mathers. And these are his definitions of what the cards mean. And when I read this about the King and Queen of Pentacles, I don't know, it made me think. So, of course, we know bravery, courage, success. But it also describes the King of Pentacles as a dark man for upright. And reversed, an old and vicious man, a dangerous man. Doubt, fear, peril, danger. And I know the court cards, I'm still digging in deeper about the court cards. They are more tricky and they do trip people up. However, I never thought of it as a dangerous or vicious man. So that was very interesting to me. I have really been enjoying this book a lot. And I'm hoping that I can finish this. I know I said I might not, it might take me a while to finish this book because it is pretty hefty, and I thought it would be very dense, but it's really not appearing to be that way. So lesson learned, don't judge a book by its cover or by how heavy it is. And my final update that I wanted to talk about is in my original August-September video, I talked about how I don't really assign decks to certain months as much as I want to. It's not something that I have really done before. However, I did give myself a loose goal to use 2 decks in particular, and those were Desert Illuminations Tarot and Tarotbot. I will be completely honest. I have not used this deck at all. And I don't know. I don't know if I want to. I don't know if I'm feeling it. I'm not sure. So I'm not going to be too upset with myself that I didn't use this deck when I said I wanted to, because it's not a practice that I've had to assign or pick out decks to use for a particular month. I'm more free flowing and I go with the flow, and I'm a mood everything. So I'm a mood eater, I'm a mood reader, I'm a mood like TV watcher and movie watcher. So it only makes sense that I also base my choices of decks uh, based on my moods as well. So I just haven't felt pulled to use this one. So, and I'm not sure if I will, but it will have its time. It will have its time. I have done a few readings with Tarotbot, and I love this deck so much. I'm glad that I've been pulling it out to use it a little bit more. I'm happy to have this. I still enjoy it. It's been a pleasure to use. I've needed this deck this month. I've needed its cuteness and quirk and its deep feeling. It's like, it's so interesting because it's cutesy, right? These cute robots, and I love them so much, but they're so emotive. And I think I've said this before, but there's such a depth to their expressions and what's going on, and they're just so innocent and adorable. And I just want to love them and take them all home and take care of them, even death. So they're just really emotive and curious and loving. I don't know. It's been putting a smile on my face, and that's all I can really ask for at this time, is for that to happen. So I've been enjoying using that. Could I use this deck more? Yes. Have I been doing a ton of readings this month? No. No, I really haven't, but when I do, I've been choosing this one, and another one has slipped in here, and that is the Chromatic Fates. I recently pulled this out for a video that's upcoming, so be on the lookout for that. But I love this deck so much. It is one of my favorites for sure, and I'm not afraid to say that or claim that, because it is true. It is one of my favorites. I love the colors. I think that Stephanie Koss did such a good job being the art director for this. This is another one that's very expressive and emotive, and I think I'm really seeking that right now anyway. And it's got a touch of the fancy life here. I don't know, it's every time I pull this out, I'm like, man, why have I let it sit there for as long? But I don't know, I know I have other decks to use in my collection, but this one has really been on my mind and something that I've been using lately. So my plans might not have worked for choosing 2 decks, or I mean, I guess it did, or it has like 50% of the way because I have been using my Tarotbot, and that's something that I wanted to do. But that is it, you guys, for my mid-month check-in. I really hope that you enjoyed this. I liked doing this. I want to connect with everyone and be transparent and honest, and know that life isn't perfect. It's not always sunshine and rainbows. And yes, I know we all kind of know that already, but sometimes life happens and plans change and our practices change, or our outset changes, or we go back to a reading that we've previously done and we say, oh, maybe that's what that meant. And yeah, I was really off about that. But there's something to owning up to that and accountability, and it's just learning, right? It's just about learning. So that's what this channel is really about for me. It's learning, it's growing, it's showing you guys what I'm up to, talking about things, giving you updates, being real with everyone on my practice and when I am on fire with it or when I'm struggling with it. And I haven't been the best at my practice this month because a lot has been going on, as I mentioned, but I am super proud of myself for coming to this video, being introspective, and still wanting to dig into some of the things that I promised myself I would do for September. Anyway, I think this video has been long enough. Please like and subscribe. It would really help me out, especially now. You will probably be seeing even more of me as I can now upload or create a schedule of my own will. And I really have been enjoying doing YouTube and creating videos and connecting with all of you, and I hope to do that even more. So until next time, see you around.